This is Think Tech Hawaii. Community matters here.
And guys, we are back here in Honolulu, Hawaii with the Prince of Investing show right here in Honolulu, Hawaii on Think Tech Studio. Guys, this is episode 6 and we still hadn't gotten canceled. Man, isn't that crazy? But I want to say thank you guys for all of the amazing support throughout the globe who's tuned in all across the place and making us the #1 financial literacy show here in Hawaii. So thank you guys for all the support. But as always, guys, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So today, we are going to talk about a lot of, we know a lot of athletes, professional athletes, NBA, NFL athletes, and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about how to get into investing. Now, this is a crazy story. Y'all know earlier this year, I was over at Warren Buffett's meeting at Berkshire Hathaway in Omaha, Nebraska. While I'm there, I'm going around. This is my first time there. I'm trying to get interviews, and nobody will give me an interview, right? So, people are like, well, who are you? Because you got Yahoo there, CNN is there, Fox is there, all these other big major brands that are there. Then it's just little old me there with my tripod and my phone, pretty much. So then I take a look, and I look over, and I see a shock. It's this 6'7" guy. He's wearing the fitted cap, and I look over, and I'm like, man, I think that's Metta World Peace. For you guys who don't know Metta World Peace, he played in the NBA for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years or something like that. He played for Chicago, LA, and all the way in 2010 when he won the NBA championship. He won the NBA championship with the LA Lakers and Kobe Bryant in that game 7 Boston versus LA, where he came in and scored like 20-something points, hit 2 3-pointers. I remember like it was yesterday. And I went to him and I said, hey, Metta, I've been told no about 20 times. I didn't care about another no. So I said, hey, Metta, do you mind if I get a quick interview? Long story short, he actually gave me the interview. When he gave me the interview, that was my first interview at Berkshire. And that gave me the confidence and built me up to get all of the other things that you guys saw on at Berkshire. So I want to thank him personally. But even better for that, I reached out to him and I said, hey, would you mind coming on the show? And he said, sure. So, no further ado, guys, here's Mr. Metta World Peace. Metta, how's it going?
Everything's great. Everything's great, man. It's good to be on your show. That was my first time at the Berkshire Hathaway meetings. And, I was absorbing everything.
Wow.
So I had a good time.
Now, the thing about it was, you was the last person I was expecting to see at Berkshire Hathaway meeting. And when I saw you, I'm like, wow, I didn't know Metta was into investing, right? So what got you into investing?
Well, the main thing is, as I was growing up, I was into friends, having a good time and into the streets and, having to pass my test just to play NCAA basketball. So I was kind of forced to become a good student academically, majored in math before I announced I was going to the NBA, so only did 2 years of college. And I remember wanting to start my own shoe company when I was 19 years old. Similar to what LeVar's doing for his kids, I wanted to do that for myself.
Wow.
And when I was trying to do that, nobody would help me. So throughout my whole entire first half of my career, I always wanted to do business. I was always trying to be entrepreneurial, but I never had the guidance, and nobody ever would just sit me down or just help me out and show me business and teach me how to do business. Everybody was always trying to preserve my wealth, which is great, but as an entrepreneur, you want to grow your wealth, right? So as I got older, one of the things that was my weak point was the stock market and companies and analyzing companies. So I decided to just learn a little by a little by a little. And it became interesting. When I first started, it was intimidating. And you see big companies and you're going to invest in companies and you're afraid you might lose money, or you got to put in that work and you got to research and do analytical work. That's like tiring, frustrating, and intimidating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
mentally tiring. But as you get more comfortable with it and meet different people and talk about different things. That's what led me to meet you at Berkshire.
Wow, nice. Now, what made you give me that interview? I don't think I didn't see you do another interview or anything like that. I know a
Well,
lot of
that
people
was
wanted to
great.
meet you.
For me, it was great because I never got a chance to talk about finance from my point of view. I always heard about finance from networks' point of view or host point of view or some rich billionaire's point of view on an interview. But from my point of view, I'm from the streets just like anybody else. But most of my friends invested in, crack or cocaine, you understand?
Kids, don't do
Or rap
drugs.
or whatever. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? And we never was exposed to investing in real estate, investing in the stock market, researching companies. These things are fun. They make money, and all you want to do as a child is make money. So I was just happy to be there, and I was happy to learn. When I first got on the line, I was probably the only black person I saw until I saw you, and then I saw a couple other people. Another black guy, a black girl. Oh wow! But it was really cool to be there. A lot of great people, and when I did the interview, I was honored to do the interview, quite honestly, because
Wow.
nobody asked me for an interview. I wanted to be interviewed.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool that you say, hey, I was a lot of people weren't exposed, and for people who are viewing this and people who know who I am, they know 2 years ago for what I've been doing in children's financial literacy with animated cartoons, with books, with workshops, things that I've been doing with myself and my son. We've been doing over years. It's just over the years, we just slowly, gathering exposure for it, and that's very interesting to hear. But when we hear about people in the NBA, right? Throughout your career, we're seeing you guys make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I'm like, wow, these guys are making millions and millions. They'll never have a financial issue. If I was in their position, I would be doing X, Y, Z, this and this and that. So
Right.
why don't athletes or professional athletes do this? Why we hear these sad stories of them going broke or,
Yeah.
I made all these millions of dollars. What happened?
Well, the first thing is that when you read about an athlete going broke, people never talk about how those athletes stimulated the economy. So I want to really, give a shout out to those athletes who helped people who the government was helping anyway. A lot of people complain about people getting on Medicare and Medicaid, and the government got to pay for this, the government got to pay for that. Well, a lot of those athletes that went broke, they took care of a lot of citizens.
Wow.
And they never get credit for taking care of so many citizens. At least $1 billion probably has been spent on citizens from athletes. So you gotta recognize them for that. They should be commended for that. Now, the flip side is the investing. When you become a professional basketball player, you're a high pick. You make $10 million a year, $20 million a year. Immediately, you are a $20 million person. After tax, you're a $10 million person. All right, cool. So now people put you in that that title or that lane of being rich. So you got to live up to that. In order to live up to that, you got to have financial literacy. You have to know how to invest and where to invest and when to buy real estate and when to sell. Well, not everybody knows. So although you see a lot of guys making that amount of money, they are not really the $10 million person that you might think they are. And so, and then you'll get a guy who is maybe a $1 or $2 million person who grows his wealth to 10, 20, 30, $50 million, right? It's because the mindset. So not everybody has the mindset. So you have to, one, commend a lot of those athletes for helping family, for helping, friends, even though they get taken advantage of, but wow, what a thing to do.
Okay.
And nobody talks about that. And then, and the flip side, you have to put in things in our Board of Education school system that is necessary. Financial literacy, real estate class, homeowners. That's why you see countries like China's beating us. A lot of people don't know. But in China, in order to go to a public school, you must own a home. If your family doesn't own a home, they will not be able to go to school. So then when you see the Chinese come to America, they buy real estate. Not because they have the money. A lot of Americans have money to buy real estate, but you don't see a lot of Americans that was never introduced to real estate buying real estate and flipping properties. But when you see the foreigners come over here, mainly Chinese, they know the business. You understand? So we're in terms of we're behind the 8 ball, globally when it comes to that type of stuff. And we have to fix that problem, and then we'll see it get better in the future.
Okay. Now, when I look back at it, I say, you're 100% correct, right? I even see it at a much lower level where I see people that, let's say when your network doesn't grow. That's one of the problems I see with a lot of professional athletes. It happens overnight. Someone who's been watching me, they see, like when you saw me at Berkshire, you're Metta World Peace. So automatically you're at the top. You're an NBA athlete. You're this. They don't know behind the scenes, how many videos and how many books and how much stuff I had to do just to get to Berkshire. And then to become one of the first only independent, and of course I was the only African American there, media outlet.
But you know what? You're the first independent, and that's good enough.
Oh yeah. So I had, but along my path, my network has slowly changed. My network has slowly changed over the years. So I meet, better and better people who have a higher network, and I read a lot of books. I meet a lot of authors, like here on the show. In the past, you see a lot of, gigantic real estate guys, a lot of gigantic, entrepreneurs and things like that from Wall Street, all the other good stuff. And I think with an athlete, they go from, like you said, they go from the streets, all of a sudden they're a first round pick, they get $10 million, they're a multi-millionaire, and their whole circle is the exact same from the streets. So when they look to invest, they don't have, financial experts, business people, entrepreneurs, investors are around them. Then on top of that, what I've learned so far in my years, that a lot of the financial industry is credit repair. It's geared towards adults. Who is it geared towards children? Now when I go teach, a 30-year-old, I have people I've been to universities that are, these are people with doctorate degrees, and they're trying to get into investing. And I think one of the biggest problems is why it's so foreign to them is because it's not introduced to them as a child.
Right.
So it's not, it's like you growing up, someone grows up, they be like, well, I stay away from that because I don't know what it is. I stay away. And I don't care where you go at, what you do in this world, it's, you will end up into some type of financial situation. You will need some type of financial help. And my years of watching you in the NBA, win championships, your highs, your lows, from being run on test to, the ironic, the brawl that you went through, then coming back as Metta World Peace, that up and down that I've seen, I never heard you speak like this. That's why I had to have you on the show. And being a professional athlete, turning into investors. Now, what do you think? What do you think we should do as far as getting more athletes or professional athletes to become investors or entrepreneurs?
See, for me, so my type of investment is a little different from investing capital. So I'm on the flip side, right? So I like to raise monies, but I had to see how investor minds work. So I go to a lot of investor conferences and different things like that. So what I like to do is position my companies to be bought out, or to position them to have investments with smart investors. And then also with the clients that I have, I want to position their companies to be able to be in a situation to get investments also. So you got to have everything in place. For example, if you have Berkshire bought, what was the last company they acquired? They just acquired American Express, I guess, over the last couple of years. So American Express had to have, a lot of things in place. They couldn't have, any stones like unturned. From marketing, from staffing, from personnel, everything had to be in place. And sometimes, so for me, in my earlier days as an entrepreneur, not an investor, as just entrepreneur, I never had everything in place. So it's not sexy to an investor. So it's two sides to it, and it's all important. So it's important you learn the mind of an investor. Then it's important you learn the mind of somebody who's trying to raise money. So a lot of the athletes have to make sure they open up their minds to both sides.
Okay. Well, Metta, we're going to get more into your entrepreneurial ventures and investing interests and stuff like that. But we got to take a quick 1 minute commercial break. Once we come out of this commercial break, we're going to get more into Metta World Peace, his entrepreneurship ventures, LeVar Ball, all the other good stuff like that. And you know what? You guys stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Pete McGuinness-Mark, and every Monday at 1 o'clock, I present Think Tech Hawaii's Research in Manoa, where we bring together researchers from across the campus to describe a whole series of scientifically interesting topics of interest both to Hawaii and around the world. So hopefully you can join me 1 o'clock Monday afternoon for Think Tech Hawaii's Research in Manoa.
I just walked by and I said, "What's happening, guys?" They told me they were making music.
It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk. I like his music.
They said I could play, so any chance to play at all. You know, that's my life. I love music. Yeah, I saw it.
Guys, we are back here with NBA champion, NBA legend, Metta World Peace. Hearing him, talk like I never heard him talk before. I haven't seen him anywhere on my personal thing, seeing him talk about investing. But the thing I was surprised when I met Metta, we all know he's an NBA champion, right? We all know that, we all know him as an athlete, right? What I didn't know about Metta was after I had met him, and I was like, man, this is somebody I watched on TV, and you meet him in person, like, man, they're actually a pretty cool person. So as I did my research on him, I said, man, I didn't know he was a children's book author. I even told the people here in the studio, they was like, Metta got children's books? I'm like, yes. He has, I counted 6 children's books that you've written since 2014, dating to now, with the Pandas Friend. Then also I saw your clothing line that you have as well. What got you into children's books and building your own clothing line?
The thing that got me into children's books was wanting to give back. And I had a lot of fans who were parents. And, as a parent that wasn't, I would say, the most ready than myself when I first had my child at 16 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I always wanted to make sure my fans who are parents, especially young parents, that they reach to their children. Even though my books is not, I would say, like Dr. Seuss, where, Dr. Seuss, you never seen him in any incidences, right? You never seen him in any trouble. So it's like, should I do a children's book? Am I ready to do a children's book? I often promote, I'm from the streets, and, I'm a fan of the streets because that's where I'm from. And I'm like, am I ready to do a children's book? But I thought it was necessary because although I have my own character and personality, I still affect a lot of people out there.
Wow.
And family is very important to me. So if family is important to me, why should I just hold that in and not give that back to somebody else? So children's books is very, very important to me. I'm going to do more. And I want to do some more where it's a little bit more edgy, a little bit more realistic. Because for me, when I was a kid, Dr. Seuss was good, but I needed to know how to avoid being in the streets. You understand? So not enough children's books is realistic for that kid who can't relate to green eggs and ham. Some kids need something else. And it's very important to me, things that are, just being transparent and just being honest. It's very important to me to give back and just get right to the point. For example, in elementary schools, I think they should teach kids about the importance on being a good partner, the importance on being a good parent. They often learn about how to disrespect women in clubs, and they often learn about how to, do this and that to another person on a album. But do they learn about being a good partner, being a good parent, right? Do they learn about finance and literacy and real estate? So honesty for me is everything, and that's why when people see me on YouTube, when they see me out there, you're not going to get somebody who's trying to be corporate, who's trying to be in Coca-Cola commercials. Like, they're going to get me at all times because I think it's very important. It's not enough for that. So children's books is something that's dear to my heart.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Metta, I don't think nobody out there is questioning how real you are. Everybody knows that Metta is as real as it is. I knew that before I met you, but it was kind of, I wasn't as. I seen you play basketball before. I went to a courtside game in San Diego back right after y'all had won a championship. Y'all had the championship team together. So I seen you before. So that wasn't my first time ever seeing you in person. But I was courtside. You didn't know who I was. But but when I saw you later on and I got a chance to talk to you and interact with you, whatnot, I was like, wow, he's actually a real person. And I'm actually shocked that you showed up. I didn't think you was going to show up. When I came into the studio, everybody's like, Metta's going to come. I'm like, he say he is. I talked to him yesterday, but we'll see. Now that's crazy. Now I feel that exact same way. Like I've written over the last 2.5 years, I've written 2 children's books myself, and that was true. Me and my son started on YouTube about investing 4 years ago. Right after I got, during my time, I went and got my MBA, got my different investment license and stuff like that. And he was 2 at the time. I wasn't taught about financial literacy, but as I learned about it, and I had my son sitting on my lap named Wesley, then it just turned into something. We ended up writing books. We ended up going to Shark Tank. We ended up doing all the other great stuff. But that's enough about me. A couple questions I got to ask you because I know people will want to ask these questions. Now, you spoke about parenting, and you spoke about entrepreneurship and business, and your history with the Lakers and being with the Lakers. I'm pretty sure you probably met or been around LeVar Ball and the Ball family and stuff like that. How do you feel he's doing with his kids and with the whole shoe brands and building the entrepreneurship, kind of changing the game a little bit? And I know you said you wanted to start your own entrepreneurship in shoes. What you think about that whole situation?
I think it's great. America gives you the opportunity to do business. And it also gives you the opportunity to be a Nike and have a stronger hold on the market. But it also gives you the opportunity to be ambitious and to dream. And that's what LeVar is doing. He's trying to either get a big deal right out the gates where his kids can become billionaires instantly with the deal he's trying to get, or just do it on his own. He's not perfect in terms of what the majority of the public wants to see, but he is perfect for his children. I feel that he has 3 pros on his hand. And the one nobody's talking about, he's going to be a pro. LiAngelo. He's going to be a pro. He's a really good shooter. I played against him 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you played off-cut?
Yeah. So for a dad to give that much time to each of their children, and all his children are very good players, and they're smart, they're entrepreneurial, like that needs to be commended. They should have eventually maybe a class on him and how did he do it.
Wow.
Because it's very important. How do you turn, something, out of nothing? And he's doing that not only with his kids, but he's doing that with a brand and his own personality. So you have 3 kids, you have the brand, then you have your own personality. And now on top of that, you have collectively. He has 6 different empires going. That's pretty brilliant.
Okay. Very interesting perspective. Now, another question I wanted to ask you is, during your time in your history, you had the opportunity to play with 2 of the greatest players of, our past couple decades. Speaking of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I know Kobe was your teammate, and you played together with Kobe. And I think you played with Michael at one time, too. I know I saw a video. I don't know if
I did.
You did play with Michael. So you did play with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Which one of those would you say is the best, and why?
Man, it's tough, man. Like Michael, Kobe, LeBron. I mean, it's the difference between an apple and a pear and I'm not gonna say a green apple because a green apple is not as good as a red apple.
I like green apple better, but okay.
You like green apples?
Yeah, I like green apples. I think they're way better.
They have more electrolytes than red apples. It's much better it's a much better thing to drink than Gatorade or something like that, right? So it's better to have a green apple.
Okay.
But so that's good in itself, right? And that's the difference between those guys. They're all different. They have different DNA, but they're very effective and they're all champions. And LeBron's been to the finals more than any of them. And Kobe has more rings than LeBron, and then Michael has more rings than all of them, but LeBron's average a triple-double. Like, these guys are great. So it's hard to say who's better, man. It really is. It's like choosing between your kids. Which one of your kids is better than the other?
Well, man, if you had to play a pickup game, which one would you pick?
If I had to play a pickup game,
and you had to pick one, all three of them on the sideline. I'm going to ask you the tough questions now.
None of them. I don't want to play with those guys. I'll play with myself. I don't need those guys to win a game, quite honestly.
Okay.
I'd much rather play against those guys. And I'll tell you a story. Right before I came to the Lakers, I was trying to go to Greece, actually, because I wanted to play overseas in the middle of my career. I always wanted to play overseas, but my agent said nobody wanted me, which is, I don't believe that. I don't think he tried. And then I tried to play with Detroit or any other team. I didn't want to play with Kobe because why would I want to play with somebody who's really good? It just doesn't make sense to me, right? I want to beat those guys so I can have a better legacy. And but the only reason I was with the Lakers because no other team wanted me at that time, so I had no choice but to go to the Lakers.
Wow.
And then I could have went to Cleveland. LeBron actually called me, good guy. I love that. He's a man now. We'll call him a kid, but he's a man. But I didn't want to play with him because why would I play with LeBron? It just doesn't make sense to me because I want to beat LeBron. It's much better for my legacy if I beat these guys. So I wound up playing with Kobe, but the only reason I played with Kobe was because, I just had no choice. It was between LeBron and Kobe for the most part, but I didn't feel like calling LeBron back because I already, kind of said I'm not going to play there, and nobody else wanted me. So I was forced to play with the great ones, but that's not what I wanted.
Now, coming into 2017, 2018 season, who's going to win the championship this year? Who you putting your money on? There's been a lot of moving around the NBA.
I want to see Nick Young get his ring. So, I would love to see Nick Young get a ring. And so I probably would be riding the Warriors. But my family, my household, we're LeBron James fans. So, we always like to see when LeBron wins. Yeah, so I'm kind of in conflict.
Okay. For guys out there, if you comment below the video, what you got to do, you got to comment below. And the first, let's go with the first 10 people. The first 10 people to comment below that I see, you will get one of Metta World Peace's books. You will get something from his clothing line, Panda Friends. Maybe a hat, maybe a t-shirt, maybe a hoodie, or one of his 6 books. But something out there we're going to give away for Metta World Peace. Now, going forward with this, that's one of the things I want to get out there as well. Going into your time, your history, what has been your best investment? What has been your worst investment?
The worst investment was the music because it's a business and I treated it as a passion. So I did spend a couple million with the music. Best investment was definitely my kids, putting the time into them. Son's about 2 scholarships about to happen, potentially a 3rd one. 2 potential NBA players. Very smart kids. So that's great family investments. My daughter's potentially going to be a chef. She's in chef school. So 4 great investments there. And then financially, I think my best investment was. I would say, I do enjoy the stock market, paying attention to it, and it's hard to time it, but I do enjoy the stock market. And I would say my best investment was my startups. Putting a little skin in the game, and then raising money. So not starting a product for $1 million or $2-3 million, just starting it. Maybe $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, starting the project, showing your potential investors that, hey, this is the idea. I do have skin in the game. Some cases you put in 100, 200, but not putting in the full amount, and then finding really smart investors, not somebody that only has money, but somebody that can add value, to your company. So my smartest investments has been my partners. All my partners are really, really smart. They're invested in my company. And add so much value. and so now we're able to grow even more. So you'll see the Pandas Friend taking off, started 4 years ago, and you'll see more from it, because we have an investment and we got smart people around us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know my producer in my ear is like, hey, Prince, you got to close out the show. You got to close out the show. But I got one more question for you, right?
Yeah.
For anybody, young athletes, maybe that's D1 or whatever, that's becoming pro or that's going pro, financially, what would be the best advice? Looking back, what would you tell the young Metta World Peace that was their first round draft pick?
I would say just take an economics class, and don't think about it as class and think about it as, this is hard, I don't want to be here. Think about it, you're preparing for your future. Economics covers a lot of things, a broad range of topics. And I think every athlete not only should take it, it should be mandatory for all student athletes to take that class, because it's going to add value to them. They're going to be assets to the generation coming after them. Mm-hmm. So we're not behind. America's behind in a lot of things. So I would say economics. Just take an economics class, and then on top of your other passion classes, whether it's acting or being a lawyer, whatever that is. But as a student athlete, I could potentially make millions and millions of dollars. Take an economics class.
Okay. All right. Now, Metta, is there anything you want to listen or leave out there for any listener or viewer from around the globe?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to them? One. Two, how can they get in contact with you or follow you or anything like that? Anything you want them to do?
Oh, you can get in contact with me on MettaWorldPeace.com. Just send me a message, and it comes right to me. And then also treat your earth right, because if you treat the earth right, it'll treat you right. It'll provide more fruits. It'll provide more food. It'll provide you that good pasta that you eat. But when you treat it wrong, it gets mad and it does weird things. So, don't forget that, and treat your earth the right way.
Okay. So, man, you probably didn't know this, but I got a little skills myself. I used to play ball a little bit. I'm just playing. I never got picked up. I'm the guy.
We should try it out one day. Maybe we play one-on-one and we can put it on your show.
Play you one-on-one? Oh, all right. So y'all heard it right here live. Metta World Peace said he's going to play me one-on-one. I'm going to have to, lace up and, I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Absolutely.
But Metta, I definitely want to thank you for stopping by, taking time out of your day out there in L.A., for calling in. I would love to go even way longer than this because, to hear you talk about financial literacy blows my mind. That's a passionate thing.
Let's do it again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have to see. They want to do it again. So, hey, we definitely got to have you back. But anyway, guys, I know my producer's in my earpiece like, man, you need to close out the show. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the show, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Prince of Investing each and every week here on Think Tech Hawaii. If you want to follow Prince Dykes, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Follow the Investor Show. And as always, until the next time you see me doing some goofy cartoon or podcast or whatever, peace, be safe, I'm out. Thank you.